Well, we do have some good news. And that good news is that immediate relief is coming. According to multiple Republicans, they believe their party has not been doing enough to provide for the American people to ensure that the American people vote them into office next year. But the good news is a little bit of a problem because the good news is happening because of bad news. Here's what's going on. Look at this right here. It says, people aren't dumb. Republicans worry they're not doing enough on affordability. But when you listen to certain people talk, and Democrats are always going to put pressure on Republicans and blame them for everything that they've done, Republicans are going to do the same thing for Democrats. Well, here's what's happening. Right now, the Trump administration has been doing many things to make certain things here in the United States more affordable. At the same time, they're also doing certain things to make other prices a little more, well, unattainable. Here's what's going on though. As of right now, what we are looking at is that the Republican Party or the Trump administration is trying to make prices come down. But how do they do that? Well, that's where things get tricky. I have a whole list of things right here. Took a bunch of notes. I want to go over this as well in just a moment. But I want to read this article to you, or part of it. It says right here, congressional Republicans are starting to publicly and privately sound the alarm about their party's disjointed strategy to address Americans' affordability concerns, with some growing increasingly frustrated with President Donald Trump's sometimes cavalier attitude toward the subject. It says, while Republicans say the high cost of living is a problem they inherited from President Joe Biden, many GOP lawmakers still think their party needs to sharpen its own message and platform ahead of the midterms, or else it could cost them their tenuous majorities in Congress. Right now, the House of Representatives, they have a very slim margin. Very slim. I think it's like 2 or 3 seats. Okay, if 2 or 3 lawmakers defect, go to the other side, that flips everything. The Senate, they have, was it 53 to 70 or 53 to 47? Okay, again, slim margins here. But this is why it's a big deal. I want to read this to you. Look at this right here. It says, if we don't do that, we would be morons because the economy is very much on people's minds. It says, Democrats failed to really hammer the economy and it cost them the election, he added. If we as Republicans failed to do the same, it wouldn't surprise me if we had a similar turnout. That's their concern. Now, here's the reason why I'm bringing this to your attention. Some are calling for immediate relief. This is needed, okay? Financial relief is coming, but as to what it looks like, that's what we don't know, because the majority of the stuff that I'm going to talk about requires congressional approval, some of which does have bipartisan support. I want to show you a couple other things though, okay? Because everyone says, oh, prices, they're going up. Republicans and some are saying, no, prices are coming down, but then you got others that say, no, they're going up. Look at this. It says gas prices sink while electricity jumps, giving both the GOP and the Democrats an affordability talking point. Okay? So gas prices for vehicles is going down. It's under $3 a gallon nationwide on average. But then you look at things like liquid natural gas, and gas prices are surging. It says surging gas prices worsen affordability crisis for Americans. It says record U.S. LNG, this is liquid natural gas, exports are colliding with a cold snap as rising energy costs create political problem for Trump. So you say gas prices are coming down, but yet liquid natural gas is more expensive. Okay, let's get to what some of the relief that they're talking about. So the good news is, some of these things will be coming, or there's going to be more discussions on them. So that's good. The only bad news is it's tied to bad news. Okay. The only reason why we're even discussing a tariff dividend check is because the United States has become a little bit unaffordable. And good news, we're bringing in billions of dollars from tariff revenue, but that's not coming out to the American people yet, and the Supreme Court still has to rule on this. So we'll see what happens there. Here's what I can tell you, though. These are the things that are currently being discussed. Now, whether or not these go through, I can't tell you. I'm not in Congress, okay? Just a guy on YouTube. But the tariff dividend check, this is something that would provide immediate or semi-immediate relief because it would likely take many months. But this would work. It would be a one-time check. Democrats likely wouldn't accept this, so they'll push back against it, meaning getting congressional approval would be difficult. But it would likely be a targeted check as opposed to a universal check where everybody gets it, even those that are making $500,000 a year. So that's currently on the table, and President Trump says they're coming mid-2026. The next one is one of the most likely ones, okay, is a reduced payroll taxes or a temporary pause. So essentially what this would do is it would increase your weekly paycheck. Now, if we temporarily paused all FICA taxes or whatever, like you would see a little bit of a bonus every single week, every paycheck you received. Or we would just reduce them, by a small percentage entirely. That's something that, according to reports, there is bipartisan support there. If we reduce our FICA taxes, okay, if we reduce our payroll taxes at the same time that we're collecting tariff revenue, essentially we're taking away one to move it somewhere else. So right now we're doing both. We're paying tariff revenue and we're paying our payroll taxes. So this would benefit the working class Americans. That's something that Republicans are adamant about. It would need congressional approval, but there could be bipartisan support on this, and it does take us in the direction of no federal income tax, which President Trump has been pushing. This would also provide immediate relief. As soon as this passed that week, it would be immediate relief into your pocket. Now, according to reports, it would provide about $800 to $1,200 per year in benefits per person for a full-time worker. But again, that's $800 to $1,200. That's pretty much a stimulus check right there. So that's something that there has been discussions about. Whether or not this goes through, again, don't know. Expanding the child tax credit, again, I talked about this just yesterday as well, where some are talking about doing a monthly dividend check where you get partial payments every single month that adds up to $1,200, $1,000, $2,000, whatever it is, right? And so that's currently being discussed. It says monthly payments would make this an immediate relief for millions of Americans. There would be bipartisan support on this as well. The other one is a SNAP enhancement. Now this one, again, millions of Americans need this, but is this something that they really want to do? Is there bipartisan support here? The answer is no. Republicans don't want to do an enhanced SNAP benefit because there's still a lot of fraud, according to them. And the good news is it would provide immediate relief, but millions of Americans say SNAP benefits doesn't even cover their entire food budget. Now, SNAP is supposed to be a supplemental nutrition assistance program. Okay, supplemental, meaning it supplements part of your income. Okay, the problem is many people got into the habit of SNAP is going to cover all their food needs for the month. And that's what the Republican Party says, no, that's not what it's for. So there's still work requirements here. So that would be a benefit to the Republican Party or to the Trump administration. And it does only help the lowest income earners. People making $500,000 a year are not getting SNAP. And if they are, well, they need to be pretty much pulled off of it because they don't need it. The next one, and this is an interesting one because we have heard this one before, is pause or reduce the federal gas tax. The federal gas tax currently is 18.4 cents per gallon. So you reduce that. The biggest gas tax right now is in the States, in most cases. So if we reduce gas prices per gallon by 18.4 cents, again, that could save you a decent amount of money. All right. If you're putting in, let's say, and again, it's not going to save you, $1 million. Hopefully you don't drive that much. But if you're driving, if you put in 10 gallons a week, which probably nothing, that's going to save you what, $1.84. If you put in 20 gallons, it's going to save you like $3.68, right? So it's going to save you a little bit. So let's say you do $3.68 a week, right? 4 weeks. Well, what is that? $12, $14 that you're saving a month over the course of a year. It adds up a little bit, right? Diesel, it's 24.4 cents. The interesting thing with both of those is if we reduce it, that also means a reduction not just for personal use, but for businesses as well and shipping companies, meaning it makes it a little bit cheaper, not just for your gas, but for your food, for your clothing items, your furniture, whatever you're buying. So prices on everything will eventually go down. This one will take a little bit longer, so it's not immediate relief on the higher end for like food and stuff like that, but again, it would come to your pocket. Here's another one, energy relief, okay? President Trump has talked about this. We're going to drill more. We're going to, adjust some of our policies, things like that. Potentially release more oil from our strategic petroleum reserve. Faster permitting on drilling. Right? These are things that the Trump administration is already having these discussions and plans to do. So good news there is energy will become a little bit less, more affordable. But here's the thing. And this is something I was talking to a friend of mine just the other day about. We would need multiple different things. If the Trump administration thinks they're going to come out and give you a $2,000 tariff rebate check, at the same time we're collecting more tariffs elsewhere and we're doing this and that, and it becomes difficult. But if they still collect tariff revenue, they give a tariff rebate check, which is going to take many months. It's not coming in the next week. That doesn't fix our affordability crisis today. And so what I was talking to a friend of mine about is we need immediate relief. And these are some of the things. You could reduce payroll taxes or a temporary pause. That could happen, and it could happen very quickly. Expand the child tax credit, again, or potentially make that a monthly payment. That, again, could happen very quickly. A SNAP enhancement, that would be huge. Democrats would jump on board with that immediately. That would be something that would help millions of Americans today. Reduce the federal gas tax. This, just so you know, the federal gas tax brings in roughly $25 to $26 billion a year, and it all goes to the Highway Trust Fund, okay, the HTF, which that's pretty much the only way they're making money. All right, so that's $25 to $26 billion. According to the Trump administration, that is what the U.S. is bringing in per month, okay, actually in about 25 days. In average 23 to 25 days, that's what the U.S. brings in every single 24 to 25 days in tariff revenue. So we could eliminate the federal gas tax right there. That's what's interesting. So just wanted to share that with you. Again, I took a bunch of notes, thought, you know what? The American people, and you guys keep on asking, when is it going to be more affordable to buy a home, rent a home, keep my house heated during the winter, right? Buy a car, keep my car insured. When is all this going to become more affordable? It's just so expensive. Well, I don't know exactly when, but these are some of the things that could help. But we'll have to see if Congress even proposes these or puts a bill on the floor. So, as we get more information on this, I promise I'll bring you all the latest news and updates as soon as we get it. But as of today, that is what we know. So again, thank you guys for watching. Consider subscribing, and I'll see you guys on the next one.